start leading my own damn life. That's what it means to be a man. Be conscious that other ideas and belief systems have been pushing you along a path that ends up where everybody else ends up in that
Gentlemen, what's going on?
How many of us feel like we're in the driver's seat? Our hands are on the wheel, we can take a left, we can take a right, we have options, but at the end of the day, we still feel like all roads lead to the same destination. We have these options. I can choose to go to work or not go to work. I can choose to get out of bed, to stay in bed. I can choose this path or that path, but still, I'm left feeling like I'm caught up like the rest of the sheep, just following the narrative that's given me, following the road that's been laid out before me, and I'm tired of it. And I was thinking about this the other day, and it reminded me of the story of when I was a kid, about 3 or 4 years old. And I started thinking, man, stories have power, right? If somebody came to me right now and said, hey, you need to do A, B, and C, I'd like, get out of my face, dude. I know that. I already know that. But if they came and gave me a story, presented me a story that conveyed this message where I felt like I came to the conclusion myself, I'm all for that. And that's the power of the story. Instead of someone saying, hey, you need to do A, B, and C, they lay out this beautiful storyline where we pick and choose kind of, oh, I've never thought of it like that. And so it reminded me of this story when I was about 3 or 4 years old. We lived in this small little neighborhood, kind of an impoverished neighborhood with a bunch of little kids. And some of the kids had four-wheelers because right outside of the neighborhood, there was this big field and they would go and ride their four-wheelers. And I was too young to have my own or to even know how to drive one. So a few of the older neighborhood kids put me on their four-wheelers and they would push me on the sidewalk, just put it in neutral. It wasn't started. And I got up in the driver's seat and had the handlebars and thought I was the best, biggest driver alive. Thought I was actually in charge, going where I wanted to go, but it was them pushing me. And one day I decided to jerk the wheel left and take my own path. But they weren't ready for that. The ones pushing me didn't know that's where I was going because they had it in their mind I was going straight. And so the four-wheeler flipped, I landed on my arm and broke my arm. And that had me thinking, a lot of the times we buy into this idea that, yeah, we have a few options. I can go to college, I can get married, not get married, I can choose this job, not choose that job, I can do A or B. And we feel like we're in control. We feel like we're in the driver's seat. We've been manipulated to believe we have this power when in reality we don't. If we jerked the handlebars, if we jerked the steering wheel, we're going to be left in quite a tragic wreck. Everything's going to be flipped upside down. Our world's going to be turned upside down. For example, if you started deciding, hey, you know what? I'm tired of being a wage slave. I'm tired of buying into the system that's beating me down and tearing me down and using me as a slave. And you just decided to quit your job and stop paying taxes, what's going to happen? You're going to be in trouble. You're not going to be financially competent to become your own person. And I think a lot of times we wake up to the nonsense that the world is trying to offer us. We wake up to this idea that they've been planting into our head that we're supposed to do A, B, and C and just go along like a sheep. And we try to jerk away from that. We jerk the steering wheel. I'm going the other direction. I'm tired of that. No more bullshit. But it can cause more chaos than good. And so the idea here is when we're wanting to implement new changes and to become that new person, to become a better man, to become a sovereign man, to become our own man, I think it's more of a gradual process. It's better to be patient than impatient. We've all made those impatient impulse choices that actually cause more damage than good. And so we're wanting to be those better men. We're wanting to reclaim our masculinity, to reclaim our sovereignty, just to live our damn life according to our agenda and nobody else's. And so instead of jerking that steering wheel, we need to become conscious that, you know what? We've been kind of guided along. We've been led along this path. And if we just jump off of it, well, that's going to be more detrimental than it is good because we've bought into that system for so long. We're dependent upon that system. So it takes a gradual process, a gradual removal for us to gain footing to begin to go to our own path. Yes, let's wake up and remove ourselves from being pushed along by somebody else so that we can make those sudden turns if we want without flipping our vehicle and flipping our utility and breaking our arm and becoming a person that's worse off had we just stayed along the path. And I think that's why many people remain on the path, because it's easier just to be pushed than it is to start driving your own self. But we're men. We were created to drive ourselves. We were created to be the driver of our vehicle. That's our utility and our function. And so the idea here is that, first of all, we have to come to the realization that, yes, I have been being pushed along. I have been that slave. And I can't just jump off the vehicle because it may cause more damage. But I do need to be conscious that I'm starting to steer my own direction without the power of any idea, without the power of any belief system, without any ideologies pushing me and guiding me. I become aware of them, and then I begin slowly removing myself from the strings of the marionette that have been guiding my hands, my consciousness, my thoughts, my actions, and I start leading my own damn life. That's what it means to be a man. Be conscious that other ideas and belief systems have been pushing you along a path that ends up where everybody else ends up in that mediocre life. And we gain our own traction by slowly removing ourselves from the bullshit that's been holding us captive. We take possession of our own lives, and that's what it means to be a man, and that's what I'm aiming for, is to be self-possessed. To be self-possessed with all my intellect and all my possibility and all my potential, to gain control of my life and be the person that I want to be the person that I can be, and to drive my own damn vehicle without worrying about flipping because someone else is pushing me that way when I want to go that way. Love and respect, gentlemen. You will hear from me next episode.